Have you ever thought that if one tablet works well, then taking two or three tablets should work even better? Surprisingly, that's not always true. So, for some drugs, after a certain dose, increasing the dose gives no extra benefit. And this phenomena is called ceiling effect. Ceiling effect is a phenomena where a drug reaches its maximum therapeutic effect. So, after this point, increasing the dose does not increase the desired effect, although it may increase the risk of side effect. So imagine you are filling a glass with water. Once the glass is completely full, pouring more water won't make the glass hold more water. Instead, the extra water simply overflow. Similarly, once a drug reaches its maximum effect, giving a higher dose will not produce a stronger therapeutic response. And this maximum limit is called ceiling effect. There are many mechanisms of this ceiling effect. How this work? So, number one is receptor saturation. Every drug works by binding to a specific receptor present in the body. Initially, as the dose increases, more receptors are occupied, so the drug effect also increases. But after some time, all available receptors become occupied. Now, there are no free receptors left for additional drug molecule to bind. So, even if you increase the effect does not increase because every receptor is already busy. So this is like, think of a classroom with 50 chairs. When the 50 students are sitting, every chair is occupied. Now if 10 more students enter, they cannot sit because no chairs are available. Similarly, once all receptors are occupied, extra drug cannot produce additional effect. Second one is maximum physiological response. So sometimes the limitation is not the receptor. Instead, the body itself has a maximum capacity. For example, a muscle can only relax to a certain limit, or a blood vessel can only dilate up to their maximum. Once that maximum physiological response is reached, giving more drug cannot produce any further effect. Imagine a balloon, you keep blowing air into it. The balloon keeps expanding only up to a limit. After reaching its maximum size, it cannot expand further. Similarly, many body systems have a natural maximum response. Third one is downstream pathway saturation. It's a little different. After a drug binds to a receptor, it sends signal inside the cell through different signaling pathway. Now, initially these pathways work efficiently, but after the maximum activation, these pathways become fully occupied. Even if more drug bind to more receptor, the signaling pathway is already working at its full capacity. So no extra response is produced. Okay. If you can think in a different way, think of a factory conveyor belt. Workers are already working at their fastest speed. So if more raw material is supplied, production will not increase because the conveyor belt is already operating maximum capacity. Fourth, enzyme saturation. Some drugs work through enzymes. An enzyme has a limited number of active sites where the drug can bind. Initially, increasing the drug dose increases enzyme activity. But after all enzyme active sites become occupied, the enzyme reaches maximum catalytic rate, like Vmax. So, after reaching Vmax, adding more drugs cannot increase enzyme activity. Imagine 5 cash counter in a supermarket. When only a few customers arrive, service becomes faster as or more counters are used. But once all 5 counters are busy, adding more customer does not make billing faster. So the customers simply have to wait. Similarly, once enzymes are fully occupied, no additional effect occurs. So, and why is the ceiling effect important? Because doctors know that after a certain dose, increasing the dose will not improve treatment. Instead, it may only increase the risk of side effect. For example, many NSAID, like ibuprofen, have an analgesic ceiling effect. Increasing the dose beyond the recommended range usually does not provide much more pain relief, but it can increase the risk of stomach ulcer, kidney injury. So, increasing the dose beyond the ceiling is generally not beneficial. Ceiling effect means the drug reaches its maximum therapeutic effect. Increasing the dose beyond that point gives no additional therapeutic benefit. And the four mechanisms are receptor saturation, maximum physiological response, downstream pathway saturation, and enzyme saturation. Higher dose after the ceiling mainly increases the risk of side effect, not the desired effect.